Happy Wednesday. Doug and Cindy here with Help Me Help Mama live cast on YouTube. Thanks for joining in today. If you're live, we thank you for being here live. If you're watching it later, we still thank you for watching. And please share, subscribe, like it if you did, and leave us a comment. Let us know what your take is on the topic that we're talking about today. Well, the topic we're talking about today started off kind of funny. Sort of funny, right?
Sort of funny. Sort of funny. Yesterday, we got home and our daughter, who is, according to Doug's newsletter, an animal magnet. She loves animals. She picks up stray animals and brings them home. So she brought home a puppy yesterday. He's cute. Little, looks like it's kind of a cross between a dachshund and a beagle. Just big, brown, puppy eyes. Just beautiful. But it's a puppy and it didn't have its mama. It had a collar on it, so somebody owns it. And last night it wanted to stay up all night.
Yep. And so cute little puppy, but it reminded me back when we hit our first two kids was like 14 months apart, twins the hard way. So when one of them woke up and started crying, well then the other would start crying, sort of a domino effect. So I remember a lot of nights I would uh, put them both in their car seats, take them out to the car, drive up and down Keel Avenue until they fell asleep, and then I would take their car seats out real slow and try to get back into the house without bumping something, because if I bump their seat on the wall or something, they start crying and have to do it all over again. So kind of reminded me of those days. But anyway, also that's a good part of all of this. If y'all want to stop at the good part, well, this would be a good time. So the bad part of it, all of this reminded me. I don't know why, but it reminded me. We see in our practice of stray family members and
Estranged.
estranged, and you know this usually happens in one of two ways. And by the way, we talk about this in our newsletter. If you don't get our newsletter, go to help.mom/cc. It's free, and I can sign up for that. But we usually see one of two ways. One way is, uh, you know, something happened years ago. Maybe there was a bad event or a series of them, and the parents and the kids kind of went their separate ways. Um, Sometimes it was because of they just drifted apart. The kids moved somewhere, got job, family, busy, and maybe come home once a year or so, and they kind of estranged for that reason. Um, Sometimes we see, for like estate planning purposes, they and later in life, a lot of times the kids get back together. I think sometimes they just think mom or dad's like, maybe when they're younger, mom or dad was threatening, and or to the kids that were like
Overbearing, maybe.
overbearing,
Yeah.
and then later on not so much.
Yeah.
So
They decided their parents
wasn't so
were
bad after
weren't
all.
so bad, and they were smart. So, yeah.
But the part we want to talk about mostly today is, and we see this cut in one of two ways too, is when mom or dad is declining and the kids sense they need some help, and then they come home to help. So,
There's two camps here.
two camps.
It can either be good that the adult children come home to help, or we've seen it be really bad. The good camp is the adult children are there to help mom or dad, or mom and dad, and they do an assessment. They see what kind of care, assistance, or supervision that mom or dad need. They help provide that care. They help cook meals, do yard work, take them to the doctors, go to the doctor's appointments with them, do all they can to help them.
In some cases, it's they actually move in with mom or dad, and
Mm-hmm.
it works well. And because of that, mom or dad get to stay home longer. But for their help, mom or dad may have gone straight to nursing home. and they provide substantial assistance, or they may just move in the same town or the same area of the country where they can stop by and check on mom or dad frequently, or they may still live remotely, but they now see, hey, mom and dad, we kind of been at a distance over the years, but mom or dad need me and I love them and I want to help. So they start doing everything they possibly can remotely to help. So that's what we call in the newsletter Camp Good. The motives
Mhm.
are good and pure and they want to help mom or dad. Now let's talk about Camp Bad for a minute.
Mm. I've seen a lot of this. This is where the adult children will actually take advantage of their aging parent, maybe because mom is declining cognitively and she can no longer balance her checkbook. So the child takes over the checkbook and starts using that account as their own, pay their own bills, go out to eat, car payments, buy a new car, depending on how much money mom has. It can be extreme. And there's, there are laws against this. This is financial abuse of the elderly. The problem is if it's reported, typically it's reported to Adult Protective Services. They have to go in, do a report, and see if they can help. Parent has to be willing to bring charges against the adult child.
And that's where it falls apart sometimes because at the end of the day, this is still their son or their daughter. And regardless of what happens, they still love them, want them in their lives. And yeah, it is tough sometimes. And sometimes it causes quite a rift between the siblings. They see what was done by one of their siblings who's been away all of these years. And now they came back and just flat took advantage of mom or dad. And fortunately, the camp bad is balanced out by a lot of the camp good. Usually, it's the camp good that you know.
But there's
That,
a lot of harm that can come from the actions of the adult children in Camp Bad. If they take money from mom or dad and mom or dad get to the point they have to go to a nursing home, that's going to cause a problem when they apply for benefits to help pay for that care. Number one, all the money's gone. They've it can cause problems. So
a few statistics I've seen is approximately, and these numbers vary widely depending on the reports you read, but this one, approximately 10% of older Americans have experienced some sort of elder abuse, and I've seen numbers a lot higher than that. And I mean, how do they know? Whoever they
a
are,
lot of
that
it
they're
doesn't get reported.
most of it don't get
No.
reported. So verbal abuse is the most common. Um, and it's unfortunate. A lot of times, like if mom or dad develop dementia, they may not even know who the kids are, or they may, mom and dad may lash out and say things that totally out of character for them. And a lot of times, the kids, I mean, they know that mom or dad has dementia or Alzheimer's, and I mean, intellectually they know, but sometimes it just gets to them, and then they lash out at mom or dad. It's kind of like, you know, kicking the puppy for peeing in the floor. Why did the puppy pee in the floor? Because he's a puppy. Why did mom say that? Because she's got Alzheimer's. And, so, but sometimes the kids may intellectually know, but they just don't handle it well. And so, there's verbal abuse. They say things or even do things, physical acts of violence. That's another form of elder abuse. Fortunately, it's a smaller portion of it,
Mm-hmm.
but that happens. Physical acts. Usually, it's financial abuse. That's the
Usually it is.
biggest,
It is.
biggest portion.
And there are ways to kind of head that off if you do the proper estate planning while you have capacity.
Yeah, and
Any other
most
statistics?
well mentioned over half the perpetrators were family members.
Yeah,
It's not like some bad guy breaks in the house
they're the
that.
ones that have access to the
Yeah,
loved one. Yeah,
yeah. So
yeah.
I guess a final thing we mentioned in our newsletter, sometimes, the parent is the bad guy. Sometimes, maybe back in the past, there was abuse or neglect of the child when you were a child by your parent. Things they said, things they did, neglected or abused. Sometimes it's really bad abuse, and that that happened maybe when you were a child. Now you're maybe 50, 60 years old, so this may have happened 40, 50 years ago, but it's still there. You remember, and maybe there's always been a distance between you and mom and dad because of that. And you know we've seen that play out a number of ways too. Sometimes the kids say, the way mom treated me, I don't care what happens to her. And sometimes that happens. Sometimes, we see kids really step up to the plate and, do what they need to do for the benefit of their parents. I remember several years ago we had a lady come in and all of this bad stuff happened to her when she was a kid, at the hand of her mom. And then she said, yeah, but it's my mom. I love her. This is the right thing to do.
It's the right thing to do.
And
Yeah.
I really admired her for that. I mean, she could have, and most people would have in that situation, just walk the other way, say I don't care what happens. But
Yeah.
she stepped up to the plate and did it. And I think at the end of the day, it's just a mirror test. You just you're looking in the mirror and you know you just ask yourself, nobody else is there, just you in the mirror. Did I do the right thing? Is this the right thing to do or not? And your gut will tell you. Um,
And
but
also, if you're caring for an aging parent, your kids and your grandkids are watching what you do. So you do right, they'll do right.
they do right. You hope.
You hope.
Right, so thank you for watching today. This started off happy, got kind of heavy. We'd rather do it the other way around, start off heavy and get happy. But, some of these things we need to talk about, look at. Certainly, if you sense elder abuse in your family, please get some help or report it to the appropriate authorities to check into because especially when seniors start declining, whatever the history is or the past may have been, they need some help and they may need your help and actual help. So do what you can to make that happen in your family. We thank you for watching today.
And we thank you for being a caregiver for your loved one. You're making a huge difference in their life.
Have a good day.